happy for you guys being back to watch this video on me, and may my God, the infinite affluence and my abilities be a worthy investment to you. Today, I'm going to discuss you something very interesting phenomena, which is called leaders without followers. Recently, India had Karnataka elections. Much of you can come change the political scenario to the business corporate world. There's very interesting thing. We all want to be leader. We want to be, you know, the biggest fish, the biggest shark, the biggest capitalist. Even I do. I mean, at least I honestly accept it. And there's another problem here. In a hyper competitive marketplace, we all want to be seen and perceived to be a leader. Nothing wrong. Absolutely right. But in order to be a leader, you need to have a genuine quality followers. Now, whether you have a quality followers or not, that is a very secondary issue. But you need to have a followers who really invest on you in terms of mind share, time share, trust abilities, and they're ready to follow you. This is the perception. Now, what is your quality standards? What your people is, that is always an optimum mix. That's your choice. But then the critical fact that I really observed is uh, you can be a good businessman by only trading in stocks or trading in a number of other actual products. Uh, might be some high-end B2B products, and you are like pharma or healthcare or agro products, and you can be a really rich person, but you cannot be a very good leader. Now, leader and leader rich are two very different things. Many of us might have watched the famous movie Spartacus. What was the key thing there? He was a leader of people. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot be a leader of money. You can be a leader of money also. Like, there are Warren Buffett had been a very, very rich person. He's like with only 16 and a half employees of Berkshire Hathaway, and he still has ownership and control over biggest wealth on most of the richest companies on earth. So that is another kind of influence and leadership that he had. He may not be a very people oriented person, but he still is a leader in his pack. Uh, the point, gentlemen, is if you really want to be a leader, you need to have a base of followers. The relative strength might be different, the quality of followers might be different, but the base of followers might be the one who really trust you. And you can do it two way, by genuinely developing with them, growing with them, which is what mine is. I grow with my clients and my business clients on a mutual beneficial note, and often the expectations are clear upfront. So it is because I'm a very practical professional businessman, and eventually on my way with a limited 24-hour capacity which everyone have, and growing very systematically. So eventually most people are mostly at the same level. But then there is one interesting, the expectation needs to be clarified, the relative strengths need to be clarified, and when you go ahead doing it, initially it takes lots of time. This is the right and the best way of developing genuine leadership abilities, genuine ability to relate to people. People are trusting to you. Now people can like you because they are crooks and you are a crook, and it's like the way stock market in 1700 century was built. There was a trader who says, I don't trust you, you don't trust me, so let's set up some rules which will be like a cartel kind of thing, and that will be a cartel of stock market. And in the 17th century the stock market was eventually built. So that can be another kind of thing. There is a negative that was a different kind of pack, and that was a different kind of leadership followed it. And leading that kind of pack is just like another version of Godfather, Al Pacino's kind of thing. But then in a business scenario, in normal business, legitimate businesses and ethical business scenario, the problem really is, the point again and again is pretty simple. You need to have a really quality base of followers who need to trust you, and there are two ways of doing it. One, the right and ethical way, which is a very self-fulfilling way, which is a growing on with the followers way, which grows with annual compounding growth rate, and you have a very satisfying and fulfilling relationship, and a very fulfilling this is like a very fulfilling session of sex, and leading to a mutually satisfying orgasm. And there is a second way, which is often the political way, the way most people using the cajoling tactics or the fear-based tactics. Normal in business, change the industry. Instead of choosing industry of politics, use the industry of business. But yeah, the cajoling tactics and these things definitely give you short-term results. It does give you results. I'm not talking, and many times it is far more than expected. But there is a problem here. People today are street smart also. You can fool once or twice. You cannot fool all the time. You will perceived as a person who's a crook, and then you will eventually get more of those followers who worship crookedness, and they will be interested in crooking you, cutting you, backstrapping you, and sooner or later you will end up with a big mess. When your lucky time will be there, you will be like in politician Arvind Kejriwal is. There was all of a sudden he was putting in investing so much of it. There was a big propaganda. He won because his lucky time is, and today because his base ability to relate over the span of uh, he tried to compete against Narendra Modi, who have built a base and successful proven model for 20 years, invested 20 years in developing the people and the capabilities, and proving himself again and again as a worthwhile leader. And this guy, Arvind Kejriwal, instead of being satisfied on his Delhi base, and then proving once he have got the throne of a chief minister, proving his abilities. Okay, this, I'm not just a title leader. Here is what I've committed, and here is what I'm delivering, and see is there. He started using the crook, and all the negative political tactics, the crooking tactics, the political tactics, the over ambitious tactics, and fear based tactics, and all the what cajoling, and all the dynamics that we all know in business or politics which happens. Now why I'm correlating here is, these are two business models which are very dominant in as on now, on the media as on now. And because next year Indian elections are again on its way, so this is very dominant. uh, and you can be successful. He was also successful. Arvind Kejriwal was also successful. He also became a chief minister. But then what went wrong? He started using negative tactics. The He overcommitted and he never delivered. It wasn't under. He never delivered. And then he was started competing with the biggest fish, rather than being on himself and developing and proving his abilities. So point, gentlemen, is this again and again. Whatever business line you are, you need to first develop a relate with the people. You need to be a leader where followers are ready to trust you and bet on you. When you need to prove your abilities, that okay, this is my, or you trusted me here, and this is what I'm proving it. This is the results. These are the expectation, and the expectations needs to be clear out. And once you are sustaining that for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, to the right way, the positive ways. Now the positive ways, it is a very fulfilling relationship. You are growing, both are growing. Using negative tactics, you will also grow. Using cajoling, convincing, what all crooking, and you will also be very rich, because your lucky time has become. You will be very rich. So you might be earning because you are very very rich, but you won't have deep inside, that the follower base that you have are the ones who crooks you. So very well, if you are a negative leader using all these kind of negative tactics, is at the back end, the the person who was there inside you, below you, would be leaving you immediately for another better deal, or might be backstrapping you, and you are consistently in the fear. Now I've been on such positions, I've been worked in such positions, and I've been in such experiences where I had been that. I honestly accept I had been that. And today I'm also been in the places where I had a very positive leadership skills, which was not a flamboyant one, which was not at all the flashy one. It was a very simple one, not at all something which is so much overburdened with the media and all the digital media, and the kind of flashy image of a leader is. It was very, but the second one, it took a lot of time, which is the positive way of genuine way of leadership. The second one was very satisfying, where I had people following me, is when I stood on my conviction, I stood on my self discipline, I stood on what I believe in. I'm a pure businessman. People, I am a very practical professional person. So people love me for it, and that is what there were a lot of criticisms, there was a lot of objections, and over the span of time, uh, I got a few quality followers, and there was a very very happy relationship, and we grew together. So there had been differences in opinions, there had been fights between the same followers who were following me there, but we grew together. But all together and net this positive way, where you are able to relate to people, you're growing with the people, you are not using any smart, lying tactics, or playing with words and all those kind of tactics. uh, in practical world today, everyone is smart. Kids are more smarter than you are. So you might be using lying and playing with the words and all those false, you might fool once or twice, maybe an year or two till your lucky time is. But then the one eventually is, but you can also use the same kind of influence, the same kind of convincing ability, the same kind of mind abilities on developing a genuine positive relations, a genuine profitable relation. So why not use that? Unless you become very greedy. It's pretty simple. If you're self-confident, reasonably satisfied, expecting reasonably, you can use the same ability to convince to cook someone, or the same ability to convince to become a genuine leader. And trust me, now I have few quality base, and I'm withdrawing negative kind of person it is. I'm on the way of transition and restructuring myself on for a next level of growth, and it's very satisfying and very fulfilling, happy feeling of first being myself, what I really believe in and what I really stood in, and secondly, having few, not a lot, a few followers who really love me for what I am, and we are growing together, and we are so happy. Both are happy. The expectations are clear, and if you go to this positive way, it takes a lot of time and initial investment. So the only difference in the the negative way is just like, you want a flashy car, you buy it on loans or cajoling tactics, and then over the span of 2 3 years, the mortgage comes, you not pay, the lucky time have ended. People, bankers and the collection people come, say you cannot pay the mortgages, and they simply take away your flashy car. And in the positive side, what I have come to it now, and what I've settled to now, and I'm very very happy, it is like, you save, you live below your means, you find out ways to increase your earning capacity, and maintain a certain level of savings. Then you eventually go with a level that you buy a car which is in your budgets and your abilities and what you want, and this is a very satisfying thing, and you have a followers like that who are growing at the next level. And because the followers can relate to you, they really love you for what you are. You have the initial, their expectations are clear, your expectations are clear, everything is on a very very satisfying note and very very fulfilling note. And trust, there's a lot of repeat business, there is a lot of happy feeling, quality business coming in, and quality feeling that you look forward towards meeting them. It's not just that I'm going to receive money from them, I'm going to receive uh support from their followers. It's just like, along with money and support, I'm going to really enjoy, have fun being with them. So, when you have this kind of leadership skills, it takes a lot of investment initially. You have to really, really go with the level. So, practically, if you are a professional, practical person like me, uh, one critical thing that I have found is to keep the expectations very clear upfront. And when the expectations are clear, you are clearly a match or a mismatch. Mass majority of the times you are a mismatch to many people who are coming to you with expectations. And when your clear expectations are clear, uh, they might get disappointed temporarily, but eventually over a span of year or 2 year 3 year, they really love you for what you are. And they are I have seen people who might be rude and taking, saying no, no, I'm not interested in you, and this is that, and being an assertive person. And because the grapevine, I live in a small hometown, the grapevine is more or less same. From the grapevine, I said, he's a practical professional person, but okay, he's a professional, we are a mismatch, that's it. And but at least he's a good professional for what he do, is a good, he's really good, is good. One thing, and people I have eventually found are the ones who really appreciate me for what I am. And isn't that so happy and satisfying that you end up being what you are? What is the difference here? I'm investing and being myself, and investing being a genuine leader, what I believe in, what I stood in. So the point, gentlemen, is again the same old dynamics that comes in. If you want a follower base, where we the entire discussion started, to be a avoid being a leader without a follower, you need to be stood with your own self. You need to develop that genuine relationship, and on what terms your relationship will be there, what will be the expected limit to which you are there, and then you have to sustain that very strongly. Now once you are effectively doing it for a span of 2 3 years, you will eventually get lots of followers who really love you for what you are, and you will develop a follower base. And all this thing takes a lot of time, lots of patience, lots of dedicated skills, lots of guts to be yourself, and self-confidence. Now what you need to do, there will be countless times in business where you will be asked for a leadership, uh, you know to tempting offers and temptations, uh, where you become greedy and you say, oh, might be using the schedule tactics or playing with words. Now playing with words for legitimate business, for that is a different level, and the level for being a complete crook is very different, or con man is different. Now if you are ethical and professional about things, you will really have a genuine leader follower base. To become a leader, you need to have a quality follower base, a lot of followers who should be ready to bet on you and trust you, and to the limit that you want to. And it is uh, and it is demands a certain amount of responsibility at the back of you, or the expectations needs to be cleared out, and it all takes a lot of time share, mind share. So understand this one thing: if you are in business, and if your business is not politics, you are not a crook, you're not a con man, you are not a politically motivated person, you're a crook kind of person, you're not a crook kind of person. Understand, screen the people rightly, grow small, grow slow. uh, it is so wonderfully happy feeling that even though you're not making temporarily very big amount of money, or you are resisting both the temptations and assertively denying and brutally, rudely, uh, cutting out the negative person who are approaching you with bribes or any negative tactics. You are just making sure that they do not approach you, or they are repelled, or at least you are in the safe zone and happy zone. It is such a happy feeling to be yourself and develop a follower base who love you for you what you are. Be a leader with the followers who love you for what you are, not with a follower, not a leader who's just riding his lucky time, who doesn't have a follower, but he on the papers he can organize a meeting with, like a politician who can organize a public meeting for 100,000 people by paying money, or some scheduling tactics and things, captivating on emotion. But none of them, but all of those 100,000 people who are gathered there are the ones who are keenly interested in their own selfish motive, or killing the cutting the backstrapping that politician or that leader. Become a leader with the real followers, the real followers you are, who love you for you are, not a leader without a genuine follower. That is the entire motive of this 18-minute long video. I'm so thankful for watching. Bye.